morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. I'm Paul Sisler, and this is In the Moment. How is everyone doing today? Today, Jay is not back, so I have L.R.Evans here to host with me. And today we are going to talk about poetry. There's a multitude of different types. My favorite, of course, is the villanelle, and we will get into that a little bit later. So, in the meantime, who does that? Colbert. Meanwhile, Luke, how are you?
Hyper and neurotic. Meow.
All right. All right. Oh, I tell you, I have road construction going on through my neighboring town where everything is, and I had the garbage company still hasn't brought my garbage can to me, so I have to go all the way to the dump, the transfer station, to drop my garbage off, and that took me like an hour today, which is normally like a 30 minutes, 15 there, 15 back, and it took like an hour. But apparently they're supposed to be dropping my can off today, and they still haven't shown up. So we'll see what happens.
Screw that. I'll tell you, I am way too fucking lazy to drive my trash down the fucking street to the garbage place. That's not going to work. So what's going to end up happening is the raccoons are going to have a buffet because it's just sitting outside is what's going to happen. Like when the trash man gets here, they get here. Cornelia is here, but she's also in my space because I kept it open because we're doing that writing sprint for the first day of Nano, bitches.
All right. Hello, Cornelia. All righty. All right. Today we're going to talk about poetry. Yay. Do you have a favorite style of poetry? Do you have a favorite style of poetry?
For me, I love anything that rhymes. I like writing rhyming poetry, always have, but I've started getting interested in haikus. Haikus are really fun for me because it's kind of like an exercise in being concise, which I struggle with. I'm a very long form writer. So being able to condense an idea into a really powerful poem, only using like the 3-7-3 aspect is really fun for me. And I like what ends up happening when I've applied myself to a haiku. So I've only written
nice. All right. Well, before I get into the poems, and haiku is the first one I'm going to start with, I'm going to give some terminology here first, okay? A stanza. When I say stanza, a stanza is a set amount of lines in poetry grouped together by their length, meter, or rhyme scheme, okay? A couplet is a 2-line stanza. A tercet is a 3-line stanza. A quatrain, 4-line stanza. Cinquain, 5. Sestet, 6. Okay. A meter, that is the pattern of stressed syllables and unstressed syllables in poetry. Okay.
Can you repeat that last one? I'm sorry.
A meter. That's all right. A meter, that's the pattern of stressed syllables, which are long sounding, and unstressed syllables, which are short sounding in poetry.
Love that. I'm sorry. Okay. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
A rhyme scheme is the pattern of rhyme that comes at the end of each line or verse. And then a syllable is the single unbroken sound of a spoken or written word. Okay. So, and if people have questions, I can always go back to that and explain things.
For those
haiku.
Who can't interrupt him.
Haiku. That's an ancient form of Japanese poetry. It's become popular all over the world. It's known for its small size, which you were just talking about. Okay. It's just 3 lines. It's a tercet, 3 lines. The first and third lines typically have 5 syllables. Yep, 5 syllables. And the second line has 7 syllables. Okay. So the alternative. The alternative. This is the place you, let's see. This is the place to be.
Oh, that's only 6. This
Okay.
is the place. B is only 6.
Want to be.
We want to be. This is the place we want to. Ah, that's 8. God damn it. See, it's difficult.
Yep. Yep. So, anyways, there you go. 575. Okay. It does not have to rhyme. Okay. It can, but it doesn't have to. Okay. A lot of people like to write a haiku because, again, they don't have to worry about rhyming things. But it does have a structure.
I have
Free
gotten
verse.
really. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say I have gotten really into non-rhyming poetry. Oh, excuse me. God, I'm rude. Non-rhyming poetry here lately, just because of all the people I've met in our Twitter spaces. Like Steven does non-rhyming poetry. Oh, God, I'm forgetting everyone. Mara does rhyming poetry, a lot of rhyming poetry, but I think I've heard some of her non-rhyming stuff. And who's the other one? The other one that I've heard that I really, really liked here recently, Ari and Necro and Nate. I'm just dropping a bunch of names nobody fucking knows. But anyway, it's gotten me into non-rhyming a little bit. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on non-rhyming. I'm interrupting your definition list. I apologize. Continue.
Oh, no, you're fine. The next style of poetry is free verse. I've noticed that a lot of poets and all that like free verse because there aren't any rules. It can be as long as you want. You can have as many stanzas. You can have as many lines as you want. Things may or may not rhyme. So free verse, basically, you're trying to tell a story. You know, you're trying to get a concept across. Let's see. Is there anything else about that? Nope. I don't see anything else in there on free verse. So it's, again, it could be a long story. The other night I read one that Maruk had just written.
Maruk is brilliant.
Yes. And she does a lot of free verse poetry and all that. I really love her stuff. And what is her at?
Yeah, you look that up. I also know that she was thinking about actually publishing a book of her poetry. She's finally getting a little bit more confident in what she's doing. So
yes.
I'm excited to see that come out.
Yes. All right.
TPA. Oh, Dana's here. Hi, Dana. The TPA says, "What's up?" And Highland Verania. Actually, I just met High Lord and in a space, and they are brilliant. They have a really great story that they're working on right now, that they're working on writing sprints with us. Very interesting. Definitely want to follow that writer. They say, "A, couldn't miss this. Thank you." And then TPA says, "I love free verse. Rhyming is fun and helps with flow, but definitely free verse." Yes, TPA. I like free verse a lot too. When I do free verse, it's usually the rhyming kind for me because I'm just not as confident as a poet as a lot of other people who do free verse and non-rhyming poetry. So I usually, when I think of free verse, I think that of like, not following any standard forms of poetry that's out there right now, like like how you have to use certain syllables in the line and stuff like that, or a certain pattern that's already established. So that's what I think of when I hear free verse. I might not be.
Right. So I put at Maruk's poetry. I put her at Twitter at in the chat. So follow Maruk. Like I said, she's got a lot of beautiful poetry. You really, really need to check her out. Just beautiful. I love it. And like I said, most of her stuff is free verse. Let's see here. A sonnet. Now, sonnet is a very old form of poetry and all that. It was made famous by William Shakespeare. The word sonnet actually comes from an Italian word meaning little song. And let's see, It actually originated in the 13th century Italy, where it was perfected by the poet Petrarch. Anyways, there's a couple different styles, and Petrarch, which is Petrarchian, which is the Italian sonics, follow an ABA, ABA, CDE, CDE rhyme scheme. And that what that means is the A, it's a quatrain stanza, and the ABBA means that the last word in the first line and the last word in the last line rhyme, and the second and the third line, the last words rhyme. Okay.
Oh, I think I've written that by accident before.
Right. And that's what the ABA means. So the first stanza is ABA, the second stanza is ABA. Then it's CDE, CDE, which means the C in the third stanza and the C in the fourth stanza, the last words have to rhyme. Then the second line in the third and fourth stanza rhyme, and then the last word in the third line of the third and fourth stanza rhyme. Now, they're not supposed to match, huh?
I said, do you have an example of that one brought up?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the thing of it is, not with it being A, the A should not rhyme with a B, C, D, or E. Okay?
Oh.
All right. So
the first word's not allowed to rhyme with the others in this one?
Well, you have the ABBA. So let's say the last word in A ends in ing. Then your B's, C's, D's, and E's won't end in ing. Okay, they're not going to rhyme.
The other one. Gotcha.
Right. Okay. All right. Now, the Shakespearean version is ABAB, CDCD, EFEF, GG.
See, I would have so much I admire people like Gaston, because Gaston will be able to tell you about all of these different poetic forms and everything. And he's actually we were in a space together once, and he was telling me about all these and showing me different examples of them and stuff like that, and getting me really interested in them. And that I was looking them up and seeing how the meter worked and all that good shit. And I was like, this is so complicated. How do you remember all of this just from memory? I feel like this is something you'd have to really study on and be passionate about to learn.
Yes. Now, even though this doesn't say it, I did some further research because I was trying to remember if from school if they had a certain amount of syllables. And when I looked up sonnet, they have it's called a iambic pentameter, where they have 10 syllables, which comes in 5 pairs, and it's supposed to sound like a heartbeat. So each line is supposed to be 10 syllables with stressing on it, to where it's like boom, 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 boom. Okay? Thus a little song. So it would, have a pattern to it.
That's interesting. I've never heard of poetry that sounds like a heartbeat. What's that called again?
A sonnet. A sonnet.
Oh, that's a sonnet as well? You're sitting here teaching me stuff is what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I was explaining the Shakespearean and the Petrarchan. Petrarchan. I can't pronounce it right. I'm sorry.
You can spell it. All writers learn how to pronounce
Petrarchan. They're sonnets, and again, they have the 2 different rhyme schemes, and 10 syllables is the standard. But again, rules are made to be broken. So, anyways, now I've seen a lot of these out there. They're called acrostic. And what they do is the first letter of each line spells out a name or a sentence or a meaning or something like that. and they don't have to rhyme either.
My one of my new friends, B, she actually wrote one of those today in a space. Let me see if I can't find it. Oh, you talk a little bit about it.
Well, I mean, it spells out a name, word, phrase, or message with the first letter of each line of the poem. It can rhyme or not, and typically the word spelled out lays down the theme of the poem.
Ah, I can't find her.
Okay. Anaya says, my all-time favorite poem ballad is Lady of Shalott or Shalott. I probably brutalized that last word.
Shallow. Shallow. Let's see here. Because it was really powerful. Ah, there she is. Was that the one? Yes, here it is. I got it.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Enraptured by sensual desires, naughty cravings continuously, immense wanton undercurrents, genuinely unique, me, authentic always. And it spells out enigma.
Oh, nice. Nice. I like it.
Yes.
All right. And there's not much else on the acrostic, what it talks about. Then you have the villanelle, which this is all I write is villanelle. It's my favorite. And it's made up of 19 lines. It came from France. And obviously it has a lot of rules. It's ABA, 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 with the last stanza being ABAA. Okay? So it's 19 lines. It has 5 tercets, and the last one is a quatrain. Okay? Now,
Okay.
all right. Now, the first and third line of the first 5 stanzas all have to rhyme. And then the second line of each of the first 5 stanzas have to rhyme. Okay? Now, there's an additional rule. The first line will also be the 6th and the 12th and the 18th line of the poem.
Okay.
The third line of the first stanza will be the 9th, the 15th, and the 19th line of the stanzas. So I'll give you an example. Here, I'll read one of mine.
Yes, please. That's in here like, there is so much. My math ain't doing the math thingy in the head. Like, I can't. My spatial memory sucks. T-Paul says Maruk is amazing at poetry, and I absolutely 110% agree with you, T-Paul. Cornelia says, agreed.
Okay.
Love to see it.
All right, let's see. I will go with I'll go with the day. Okay.
Okay. And what poem is this an example of?
Villanelle.
Okay.
Wake up and welcome your final day. You don't know what it may be, what it may bring. Put your love and kindness on display. That's the first tercet. Don't be mad when you don't get your way. Try to whistle, laugh, or sing. Wake up and welcome your final day. That last line there is the same as the first line. When the end arrives without delay, don't fear the darkening sting. Put your love and kindness on display. We will not avoid this ending cliche. There isn't a magical ring. Wake up and welcome your final day. Life is short when all you do is play. A breath attached to a string. Put your love and kindness on display. Anger and cruelty creates dismay. Regret will taint life's short fling. Wake up and welcome your final day. Put your love and kindness on display.
Isn't this a poem you wrote?
Yes.
I knew it. I knew it sounded familiar. I was like, bitch, hang on a minute. But then the more you read it, I was like, I've heard you read this poem before. This is you. I love the message.
Called The Day. What's that?
The message is on point. I love it. It's
well, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Do you guys, let's see, do you guys see song lyrics as poetry? Because if so, there are tons of poetry I dig. I've always kind of seen songs as poetry just with instrumentals behind it. Oh, definitely, definitely. Music is poetry, you know. I mean, yeah, definitely. Whether it's free verse or whether it's actually in rhyming stanzas, doesn't matter, you know. Love it, love it. You know,
especially when people read poetry in spaces, the way that they change the volume of their voice, the cadence, what words they stress, it reminds me of a song. So I feel like poetry and song lyrics are very closely put together in performance.
Definitely, definitely. You know, again, especially me, I like the old classic rock, and you can go to a lot of like Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd, you know, and you'll see some rhyme schemes there, and again, some symmetry with their lyrics. Love it, love it. Limericks. Limericks are funny and sometimes rude. I'm sorry, what was that?
I was going to say that was the first poem that I ever wrote, because I remember St. Patrick's Day in 3rd grade, and we all had to write limericks. I'm sorry, please go ahead.
No. Anyways, they were made popular by Edward Lear in the 19th century. They have a rhyme scheme of AABBA, with lines 1, 2, and 5 all being longer in length than lines 3 and 4. The last line is often the punchline. Their sound is very distinctive. It's likely you've heard or read one before. Which, let's see if I can find me a limerick here to read. We'll just find an example. Limericks.
For some reason, I have a memory of the Lizzie Borden poem around that same time. Is that a limerick or is that something else? You know, Lizzie Borden with an axe gave her father 40 whacks.
I don't know.
I need to look that up now. I just remembered that was a really fucked up thing to learn in 3rd grade.
God, I've looked up about 3 of them right now. They're all misogynistic.
Oh, yikes. Maybe limericks aren't the thing. Poem.
Okay. Okay, serious limericks. Here we go. There once was an unsmiling rhymer who ceaselessly studied his primer and versed like no other to win back his lover, that tuneless and tone-deaf two-timer. Okay, well, I guess that's... All right. Once there was an apple that turned into a snapple. Then with a cup, his joy... Nah, I don't like that one. No.
Welcome to the alternative, where Paul starts his poems.
There's a critic who crumbles at lunch with his knickers all up in a bunch. It's a trifle, you see, but we cannot agree on the number of nanners per bunch. Yeah, those are limericks. Those are limericks, yes.
Oh, yeah, because they're kind of silly. I remember now. I remember. Unlocked memory.
All right.
Apparently, I'm sorry, the Lizzie Borden one that I was talking about, the 40 wax poem, it's called a Dodgerel. Do you have that on your list?
No, no. A Dodgerel. No, I don't.
Yeah, apparently it was actually sung to the tune of Tra La La Boom Da A. That's what that came from. Anyway, it's just an idea. Bonus content if we get through your
oh, no problem. No problem. And trust me, these aren't the only styles. These aren't the only styles. There's more. An ode. The ode is one of the oldest forms of poetry and believed to have come from ancient Greece. The word ode is derived from the Greek word aidein, which means to sing or chant. And these poems were originally performed with a musical instrument. An ode is typically written to praise a person, event, or thing. You could write an ode to your pet or favorite food, and they are usually quite short in length.
I like short shit. I'd write a note to my cats immediately.
Yes, yes, definitely. All right. Then, of course, you have the ballad, Ode to a Toad. There we go. The ballad is another old and traditional form of poetry that typically tells a dramatic or emotional story. They came from Europe in the late Middle Ages and were initially passed down from one generation to another, and often with music. Ballads do have a set form. They are typically 4 lines, a quatrain, and have a rhyme scheme of ABAB or ABCB. However, this form is looser than others, so can be modified to suit a writer's needs. Most modern pop songs you hear nowadays can be referred to as ballads. So there's the music connection.
There's always a music connection. All great art stems from the basics.
Yes.
T-Paw says, I wrote an ode to my kids, my wife, and the moon as different poems than without thinking about it.
Excellent, excellent.
I'd love to hear
T-Paw,
that.
would you like to read any of those? I could always send you a link and bring you up.
I was just about to suggest that if you wanted to come up. I love hearing people share poetry. It makes me happy.
All righty. I'm going to send T-Paw the link, so if he wants to come up, he can.
I know that Cornelia and a bunch of other people are still doing the writing sprints and stuff like that because I left the space open. That way they can still get that done. I wrote almost, I know I'm past 3,000 words for the day already just from doing the writing sprints.
Excellent.
T-Paul says, I'm at work, so if my boss gives me time off, LOL. Poor T-Paul. That's okay. We can hear it in spaces later. It's no biggie.
All right. Well, I also sent it to Cornelia if Cornelia wanted to come up and read it.
Cornelia's going to have to mute the space like, guys, I got to go. We'll be back.
Yes, yes.
Have you heard that Lizzie Borden poem yet?
No, do you got it? Read it.
I do. I love this Lizzie Borden poem. Like, it stuck with me ever since I was a kid. I can't believe they taught it to us in school, though. It's so young in age. It's Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. And when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. And they taught us that in school. That's the whole poem. I feel like it was longer, but that was the whole poem. And it's just about how she viciously axe murdered her fucking parents. And at another point, they actually explained how Lizzie Borden got away with the murder, and it's really fucking gross. I don't know if you want me to mention it on here or not. But it was just, well, apparently she disguised the blood with period blood or something. Like she was like, yeah, it's just period blood that I saved over a period of time, which didn't make any fucking sense at all. Like even to me as a kid, I was like, how does that fucking hide anything? That's just disgusting.
Wow.
Again, I was taught this in elementary school. Like, why are you teaching me this? The 90s were wild.
Lizzie, who inherited a substantial sum after her father's death, moved from the murder site into a different home where she lived until her death until June 1st, 1927. Today, the house where the Borden murders occurred is a bed and breakfast. Despite Lizzie Borden's acquittal, the cloud of suspicion that hung over her never disappeared. She is immortalized in a famous rhyme. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41.
Are we back? We're back.
Yep, you're back.
Yeah, but that's interesting what people can do with poems. I've met so many talented people in spaces, and I have so much to learn from them. I'm glad that you decided to do a show just on poetry because, oh shit, go away. That was bad. I tried to click over to you and almost opened up YouTube. It was like, oh great, that's not going to mess with us. Because like I've really gotten interested in poetry here lately, just hearing how different it can all be, and it's all poetry. I've actually started up on Medium, and a bunch of people, we've started adding each other on Medium as well. Do you have a Medium account, by the way?
No, I don't. No, I'll have to check into it.
Yeah, you should. You should check it out. A lot of people share their shit on there, and it's a great way, especially if like you have bad working memory like me, and like you don't catch everything in the first read. It's a great way to like be able to read that and get familiarized with everybody's work.
Whoop.
Paul, in demand.
Oh, okay. Cornelia's looking for the link.
Ah, got it.
All right. Hold on, Cornelia. I will email it to you.
Dance break.
I put it in her DMs. I didn't. There we go.
What was the first poem that really got you interested in poetry yourself? For me, it was like I liked Edgar Allan Poe. I was in love with Annabelle Lee when they first read that in high school. That's when like I started really getting interested in poetry for the first time and started writing some of my own. Was after reading Annabelle Lee, which by the way, I wonder what kind of poem that is.
I had a writing class in high school, and I took an interest in Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe was like, dark and, just wicked. And that kind of led me into taking an interest to poetry, period. And when I came across a villanelle, I liked the structure and the repeating of it. So I learned about villanelles and started writing villanelles back when I was in high school. And of course, after high school, I didn't write poetry anymore. I didn't write anything. And then, of course, I wrote a book, and things have happened and all that from the time I've written my book and all that, from my wife taking ill and passing away. And I was on Spaces, and then I quit. I wasn't on Spaces as much as I was taking care of my wife. And then when I came back on Spaces, I came into writing groups, and that's what interested me into getting into writing. And of course, Torch the Poet, somebody that is a friend of mine on Spaces, encouraged me to write poetry. So I wrote some poetry.
like 3 Minutes, which is one of
3
my
minutes.
favorites.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
3 Minutes.
Yes. The ode to my wife. Yes.
The
Yes.
best thing about 3 Minutes is the way that you turned a loss into a kind of happy ending, like a gain. And that's what I got from it. The very first time that you read 3 Minutes was her transformation and her I see you, Cornelia, I see you, and her ascension basically into the next phase of existence. I loved that. And I did just look up Annabelle Lee, and apparently, even though Edgar Allan Poe said that it was a ballad, he kind of like went off the rails a little bit, and it's not technically a ballad. So, rebel. Sorry,
Yes.
Cornelia. I know I just talked over you.
No, it's, you know what? It's fine. I honestly was just like, oh, wait, was I supposed to get the link? Holy shit. Did I miss something? I'm lost. I'm confused. Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hi. How
Hi.
is you?
Doing great. Doing great. You know, going over poetry today. We thought we would just give it a little kick and talk about it a little bit. You know, I've been in some spaces where people have read some poetry, and Dana, who I love that poem. Thank you,
yeah.
Dana. Dana, kind of. I was in one of her spaces and people were reading poetry, and I was just like, well,
I don't
you
know
know,
which poem she's talking.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Luke?
Huh?
We all confused, huh? No, I was like, I'm not sure.
No, but I just, thought, hell, I want to talk about poetry now.
I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't consider like the short tweets that I write poetry. But again, I've had other people tell me otherwise. And it still kind of shocks me that some people are like, yeah, fam, this is poetry. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Huh? Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Because otherwise I'd be like, this ain't poetry. This is just whatever spewed out the side of my brain and just turned into a tweet.
See, and that's exactly. I'm sorry. Please go ahead, Paul. I talk way too much.
No, you're good. Go ahead. I was just saying, yep, to Cornelia. So go ahead.
I was going to say that's why I have such a difficulty writing non-rhyming poetry myself, because I feel like it's not really poetry. But then I see everybody else writing non-rhyming poetry, and I'm like, fuck, anything can be poetry. Like anything you write, it's mainly the imagery. It's the imagery and the emotion that it evokes, and that's what makes poetry. There we go.
Yes. I think that's what it comes down to, is basically the invoking of, whether it's happiness, love, sadness, depression, whatever the case may be. If it's invoking an emotional response, to me, that's poetry,
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say I absolutely agree with you. There is this poem that Ed had sent me and asked me to read it. And I think this is like how me and Ed like met for the first time at some point. I believe so. Again, Ed, if you're in the chat, leave a comment below. But I remember he had sent me this poem and I read it and I was like, holy shizballs, I love this poem. And I resonate with it because it was talking about death and how it's not a scary thing. And it just sounds like I'm the weary traveler. Like I'm done. Like I'm ready to move on. And I resonated with that on so many levels. Again, cannot remember the, I should remember the name. I feel like I should, but I don't. But I guess like just me going on a tangent. Do you guys have like any favorites poetry that you like? And if you don't or can't remember the name, that's totally fine, because I'm all about talking about the subject anyway.
I love Edgar Allan Poe. I would say he's probably my favorite.
That's what I was just talking about, was Annabelle Lee. I loved Annabelle Lee a lot. Some other ones. There was some Robert Frost, like it's only like the really popular ones for the popular poetry. Most of the poetry that I love now is just from from the people that I meet in spaces. That's mainly it. So that's the poetry that I love most. I know that, which one was it? was Displaced, I think, that was by Ari that I really enjoyed. And it was, shoot, what was it? Displaced by Ari. Mara just had one that she read, and it's what made me follow her, and I can't remember what it was. I can't remember titles. I just remember people. I know I like Ari, Nate, Necro, Steven. Steven's poetry is full of imagery. I love his imagery.
I was just going to say, yes, I absolutely agree. Like, so much imagery. And you know what? There was one piece that Steven wrote, again, that really stuck out to me. Like, it resonated with the, hello, am I the only one that sees this shit? Like, and again, I resonated with that because I'm like, Steven, yes, I understand. Yes. And I got to tell you, I've learned so much from just interacting with different, writers and different writing styles and different storytelling. And I'll be honest with you guys, my setting is just so literal. It's like desk. Like, I don't feel the need to have to, like, describe all the extra shit about the desk. But, like, that's the other reason why I appreciate writers who can do imagery very well. Like Luke, your imagery is done so well. It's the other reason I'm like, bitch, you did not overload me with imagery and, like, I was still here. Like, I have ADHD and that shit is hard. Like, so yeah, like, this journey, being a writer is awesome. I fucking love it, honestly.
Yes.
For me, like,
no, go ahead, Luke. Go ahead.
No, all I've been doing is talking. You haven't been able to talk at all. No, you go ahead. I will go after you.
No, I was just agreeing with Cornelia. That's all. That's all. Go ahead.
I was going to say my favorite part of Cornelia's writing is her dialogue. It's so real. It's so natural, and her delivery in spaces when she speaks it is natural. It feels like something that somebody would actually say, and that's my favorite part of Cornelia's writing. I feel like that's really your strength. It's brilliant. Not that, like, the rest of your writing is lacking in any way, but the dialogue is what, like, I can tell that's your number one. That's your natural talent. Innate talent is your dialogue. And that's what I adore about your writing. That's why I love it when you read, because I'm like, bitch.
I was going to say, thank you. Because I figured, honestly, I kind of figured out that even if I never put descriptions of my characters, like 9 times out of 10, the reader already has an image of that character in their mind based off the dialogue. So it's like, once I figured that out, I was like, oh yeah, we could do this.
You have intense character voice for sure. And that's something that a lot of authors struggle with. I struggle with it occasionally, like, especially if I see 2 characters as really similar, but they have, like, little nuances to them. I'm not able to really give them that strong voice. And it's something I'm working on. And I'm learning a lot from you, from listening to you share your characters. Because, like you said, somebody, like, when you share dialogue, people already get an image in their head of exactly who this person is. And that's a powerful skill to have. That's just sheer fucking talent.
Oh, I was going to say thanks, guys. I appreciate that. No, really, I do, because I put so much emphasis on my characters. Like, guys, when I tell you, I have written Arlo, first person, I, me, my, looking at me. And I had to really think about, well, damn, what's the shit, like, what would be the first thing that he would notice culturally that's not like me? And I started questioning, like, okay, he would probably recognize my attire, because I had to think about all the notes that I made about world building. Luke, this is where you come in, and Scythe, this is where you come in as well. I made all those notes, and I was like, shit, I got to really know these things. So I've spent years with my characters just doing all types of exercises. So again, to hear you say that means so much to me. Thank you.
You can definitely tell you put the work in. You can definitely tell you put the work in. It's your shining success for that. So I can definitely tell that's where your heart lies. For me, mine is world building. You're right. Like I go like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then like in the afterlife, this is going to happen, and then there's gonna be this realm and that realm, and like how's the magic systems work, and what's the limitations on everything, and like that's what like I've really put a lot of my effort and focus into, and that shows. But because of that, because I put so much work into that, I do have some room to improve on my voice, and it's cool that you noticed that, though. Thank you for recognizing my strengths. You're sweet.
No, and listen, like, okay, because I've read some books that were like considered really good, but again, my ADHD, I am one of those readers where I'm like, you got about maybe 1 page, 2 if it's interesting to grab my attention before I put this book down. That's just me as a reader. So again, I am the reader that most writers stress about.
Get that hook in early.
They do. Like, I'm the reader that stresses the writer out about the importance of the first sentence and the first page. That's me. Sorry, I went off on a tangent, but
you're the one stressing us all out here.
That is correct.
It's you.
Yes, it is. It is me.
Oh, Cornelia, since you are here, you can be here for the unveiling of a show that Luke and I are going to do together.
Yay.
Yes. We are going to do it's going to be called Tuesday Takes. And what we are going to do is we are going to go into Twitter world, and we are going to find people with checks, people without checks, and we are going to pick between the two of us. We're going to pick some tweets, find the ones that we like, that are we're going to find like asshole tweets and happy ending tweets. Okay. So we're going to, between the two of us, we're going to come up with 4 tweets with blue checks that we put up for everybody else to look at. And then Luke and I are going to pick which ones we think are the best. And then we're going to put it to the audience to pick. So basically it's going to go something like this. Tuesday takes. You pick the tweet.
That's me. Okay. I'm fine.
So, here's tweet number 1 by Bonnie Schwertner. Happy Tuesday, and it's a beautiful sunrise. Okay.
These are the positive ones.
Yeah. Happy something pretty. Yay. Then we have Bryce, aka Barbecue Beef Balboa, Gen Xers. 1965 to 1979, the last great generation before all these sissies were born. Now, of course, I'm a Gen Xer, so I kind of like that one.
Millennial.
Then we have, yeah. Well, we got to put some controversy in there. Then Jim Rose Circus, missing dog. If anyone sees her, let us know.
I'm here for the bad puns.
Yep. And then tweet number 4 by Stephen King. Molly, a.k.a. the Thing of Evil. Her origin story. You can see it in her eyes. So this is where Luke and I would then go over the tweets. And, okay, Luke, which one do you like the best? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
I'm here for the puns. Obviously, it's number 3.
Number 3, missing dog. And if anyone sees her, let us know. And I'm going to go with number 4, Molly, a.k.a. the Thing of Evil, her origin story. You can see it in her eyes. So that's the 2 that we would pick then. And then we would put it up to 3. I see you, Cornelia. So then we're going to put it up to the people in the comments and all that to just type in a number, 3 or 4. Which one do you like best?
Yes.
And then when people throw in their responses, whoever has the most votes, that's who we're going to pick. And of course, if we don't have enough people to vote, then we're just going to bring in someone else, and there you go.
My favorite part of this is the tea. Like, we're going to be like doing the bad takes from the blue checks as well. Like, the worst takes of the JK is going to make it eventually. Like, she's going to be on there eventually. I already know. Like, she can't keep her face off of the fucking Twitter. But anyway, there's going to be like the bad takes, and then there's going to be like 4 of those. And then it's only from the blue checks. And then we're also going to do bad takes from like everyday people too. I'm super excited about this, obviously. but then, like, you know, the bad takes from the everyday people, but we're always going to end it on the positive shit that, like, you guys just saw. So that's kind of neat. So it's like, here's all this negative shit, and then it's going to be palate cleanser, and then it's going to be like, here's more negative shit, and then palate cleanser. I feel like it would be like a really cool, like, insight into, like, you know, this week's news as well, because, you know, like, bad takes usually come from people who are commenting on politics or you know, social justice or something like that.
Or Elon Musk, what's he doing with Twitter today?
Everybody's losing it, and I don't know which way to feel. So I'm just chilling until like something happens that I can't handle, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I already have other places that I've already set up.
I was watching one of these finance guys. I think they were on like Yahoo Finance or something, and they were talking about how Elon has given the Twitter people until like November 7th to figure out a way to combine Twitter Blue and blue check verification into one package to where it costs you $20 a month to maintain your blue check and Twitter Blue. So I did a tweet out there and all that. Would you pay $20 for a blue check?
You know? See, but I won't pay for Twitter Blue now. So
yeah, I already have Twitter Blue, and I like it. You know, I mean, it gives you some editing options and stuff like that. You know, is it worth the $4.95? I think it is, or whatever. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, I get to change my icon for me to see, and nobody else sees it. You know. The Twitter icon, I can make it different colors, blah, blah, blah. So that way, you know, on my phone, you know, like here where you can see my Twitter icon, I can make it a different color, you know? So, I mean,
you get skins. That's what you get. You get skins and an edit button.
Yep. Yep. So,
honestly, well. I actually do have Twitter Blue myself, but Paul, I'll say this. As someone that actually does have a platform and does have the option to make money off of my Twitter, no, hell no. I would not pay no $20 for a blue check. Absolutely not. That's ridiculous to me.
Right. Yeah, and even Stephen King tweeted out and all that, you know, I forget his exact words, but basically he was saying that Twitter needs to pay him. You know, so there you go. You know, some people, you know, who knows? Who knows? If it means monetization to where I can make money by doing it, then now I might reconsider. And again, it's like, what are the other things that are going to come with it? You know? There's got to be there's got to be things that it provides, you know. The blue check was supposed to be authentic, you know, it's supposed to authenticate who you are. And if anybody can spend $20 a month just to get a blue check, then no, it serves no purpose. There still has to be you know, a process to it. You know, it's got to be more than just that.
I agree with you, Paul.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Luke.
No, we're basically the same fucking brain. So, like, we said the exact same thing. Please go ahead, Cornelia. What was I going to say?
Isn't that fucking terrible?
But no, I was just going to say also, like, the blue check. If you're paying for the blue check, then it loses its meaning. And I know a lot of other people feel the same way. But I saw here that Ari just said she's holding down the fort back on the writing sprint space. And she can't believe that she's missing this, though. It's okay, Ari. You can always rewatch later. But yeah, no, the blue check loses its loses its meaning if you just can pay $20 a month for the blue check. Like, then any Joe Blow trolls could fucking get the blue check. You know what I mean? Like, I just created my account today. I'm gonna pay $20, and look, I'm verified, guys. I'm important.
Yeah. No, it's got to still have it's got to hold a reputation with it. If it doesn't hold the reputation, there's no point in having it. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
I just wanted to say, Luca, I absolutely agree, because as someone, again, who has, spent time building my platform, I would really appreciate the opportunity to have some of my accounts authenticated or with some type of verification, mainly because my accounts have been hacked in the past. So it's like, I don't feel like anyone should just use the name, which thank God it's trademarked. So I'm super happy and excited about that. But it's like I do that for a reason. And then it's like I could have a trademark and then Twitter could still be like, no, we're not going to give you the check. But then everyone else could pay $20. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and then get what the fucker is this? No.
Exactly.
100%.
Personally, I just think it's Elon testing the waters to see who's got the ability to come up with something and who doesn't really give a shit. So I don't think we're going to see any changes right away. But, we'll see. We'll see. As long as Spaces keeps working, that's all I care about.
I did hear about a really interesting development that's going to be happening in Twitter Spaces here soon from Dana. Dana was explaining this to me because she goes to a lot of the tech spaces and learns, like what's coming and stuff like that. Apparently, we're getting ready to get like non-copyrighted music and stuff like that we can play in spaces, which would be perfect for our writing sprints. So whenever we're doing writing sprints or something, we can build like a little playlist of non-copyrighted songs to play for that 15 minutes that we do the sprint as kind of like, elevator music or whatever, just some like lo-fi, real chill beats while we do our writing sprints, which I think is going to be neat. I can't wait for that to roll out. Apparently it's happening soon. So
nice. Yep. Looking forward to it.
I agree, Luke. That's definitely gonna enrich spaces more. I mean, I've actually gone in like meditation spaces and how they'll like play music and stuff in the background, right? So I'm like knowing that you don't have to do that if that's something that you wanted to do. Oh, that's lit. I like that. That's really cool. I'm excited for that change.
Yes, definitely. All right, we're coming up on the hour. Another good show. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Cornelia, for jumping in.
Absolutely, my guy.
All right. Well, remember, everyone, be happy, be kind, and may good things come your way. Thank you.